Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. It's Sunday Comics, and I got up an hour too early because I forgot the time changed. So I've been just sitting there reading comics for an hour. If you can see Twitter, I posted live at an hour 2 hours ago. So how's everybody doing? This is my last day before going back to work on Monday. That's a mixed bag because I'm really enjoying the time off, broken neck or not. I was never really in any pain. Just broke from lack of, steady paycheck. But, if I could retire and have money to pay the bills, and I could easily spend time not working. Not that I don't enjoy work. Work is fun, but sleeping whenever you want and reading comics all day long and writing comic book scripts, it's a lot of fun. Hey, Marcus, how's it going? How's it going, Marcus? How's everything? All right, so this comic, I got to switch the cameras out because this one is just permanently tilted from when I broke it and glued it. It's always like a little askew. Just drives me nuts. But then this one will be askew, and I don't want to spend more money to buy another camera. But anyway, this is the very first comic I've ever done on my channel. If you go all the way back, you could see, before even the place was built, I had boxes all over here, and I was just leaning on the boxes, and I was whispering, and I was really shy and embarrassed to talk on camera. And it took a while for me to, not that I'm any good now, but it's a constant state of evolution. Like, I didn't know about StreamYard. I didn't do anything. It was just me and a phone. So it was kind of funny, kind of boring. Even one of my friends is like, I can't get through your videos. One of my longest friends. So anyway, this is Marvel Team Up. It'll never be square. This is Marvel Team Up 1982. This is 1979. This is my copy that I bought off the spinner rack. I probably bought it at Howie's, a stationery store that I talk about a lot, or I probably bought it at Charlie's, Ann's, or Frank's. That it's all the same store. It changed its name a few times. That was like a little candy store right next to my school. It was a lot of fun, that place. Charlie was an old drunk who would just be passed out. And I barely remember Fred's. I said Frank's. It was Fred's. And that guy was just like an older, kind of gray-haired. I don't know if he was like Hispanic or Italian. Just a nice guy. He liked me. And he would just stack up comics for me. And, I would pull them up. Can you hold this? Can you hold this? And every day I would buy one comic with my lunch money, 5 comics a week. It was fun. I miss that place. The building is still there, but I don't know what it is. Next time I drive back to my hometown, I got to check out what is actually in that spot. All right, so this is Marvel Comics Group, Marvel Team Up, Spider-Man and the Black Widow. The Widow's been shot, and you're next, Spider-Man. I think this might even... No, I was going to say this is my first Marvel Team Up, but that's not true. This is the first Marvel Team Up that I decided I was going to collect. Because this was a good story, and I think it was like 5 issues long. So I really got into it. And I got to say, these Marvel Team Ups are they're like a hidden gem of Marvel at this period. You got some Chris Claremont, you got John Byrne, you got George Perez. It was just such a And I think this was like a third tier comic. It wasn't their biggest seller, wasn't their biggest deal. So I think it was like a lot of experimental new people. Just one pet peeve on this. Well, this cover is by Rich Buckler and McLeod. It just it just looks like the Marvel style of the time. Like I look at this and from a casual glance, I think it's John Byrne. Just there's something about the lines and the inking. This always drove me nuts. The Spider-Man webbing, like it was very inconsistent. Sometimes he had it, sometimes he didn't have it. Sometimes it connected under the armpit, sometimes it connected in the back. It was always different. I just wish it was consistent. But like this is almost like, I don't know, like it connects what by his shoulder blades, but I remember it being like under his armpit, whatever. Doesn't matter. So let's open it up and check it out. So check out this cast of creators that we got here. Chris Claremont, the author. Of course, if you're watching me, you probably know who Chris Claremont is. Chris Claremont is the legendary writer for the X-Men, the run that made the X-Men what they are. He was the engine that created X-Men. Was on the verge of cancellation for a long time. I forget, Marcus, you remember what number they started reprinting it. I'm probably wrong, but somewhere around like issue 67 or so, X-Men started becoming a reprint. I don't know why they didn't cancel it. It really is bizarre that they just didn't cancel it, but they just reprinted earlier issues. And then it was 94 was when it started. So was it? Am I right? I mean, X-Men kind of stumbled for its entire history up until Chris Claremont. It was bi-monthly, and then it was a reprint, and then I think it might have even just quietly disappeared before they brought it back with X-Men Giant Size X-Men #1. So now it's a juggernaut. We talk about the X-Men, it's probably like the most famous next to now the Avengers. But the X-Men had a long troubled history, and then Len Wein brought it back. That gave it some juice, and then Chris Claremont took it over, and him, John Byrne, and Terry Austin really, really turned it into the powerhouse. So this is Claremont, before he became the legend. So we got Chris Claremont, we got Sal Buscema and Steve Lailiola. What a powerhouse team on the art. And Al Milgrom, editor. Editorial by J. Jonah Jameson. Counterpoint by M.J. Duffy. Rick Parker, letters. Ben Sean, colors. Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief. That name, Jim Shooter. You watch my channel, we talk about comics. That name is going to come up over and over and over again. So we got Stippling Vaughn over here. You nailed it with style. Both Marvel DC lost their way when they abandoned their house styles. Yeah. As far as I know, it was John Romita Jr. that was his full-time job as like the art director for Marvel. And it was Jose Garcia Lopez that was like the art director for DC. Excuse me. Yeah. And I I kind of rag on this era of DC, but you notice I never rag on the art. I always kind of goof on the stories. The stories, like at this point, DC, they were flirting with the idea of continuity. They weren't really that concerned with each issue builds a universe. That really didn't start. That started with Legion of Superheroes. Jim Shooter did it earlier with Legion of Superheroes, but besides Legion of Superheroes, I guess New Teen Titans did it, but it wasn't really a big deal at DC. So I never really talked bad about DC's art. DC's art was always good. It was just that storytelling that I didn't particularly like, and that it clicked on me. I said this a few times, but it clicked on me maybe a month ago that what I loved about Marvel Comics was the continuity. I guess I always knew it, but I never really had that epiphany, but it was like the whole, like, it was like a club. You know, you, especially during the Jim Shooter years, you could almost like make a map or of like where Swamp Thing was, where Man Thing was when Doctor Strange was doing this, and the Fantastic Four were doing this. Like you could almost make like a animated graph, and there'd be few errors. You know, nowadays, who like Wolverine, like the example that I gave like last week was Batman left the Justice League so he could star in Batman and the Outsiders. You know, today they would just put Batman in the Outsiders, and then like a 6-month storyline of espionage that involves, you know, with no consideration to what happens in DC, in Detective and Batman. But at this point, if Wolverine was in the X-Men, he wasn't in the Avengers. You know, he if he was in Marvel Team Up, they would reference it. Maybe he would not be in an X-Men issue for a month. You know what I mean? Like to give this fictitious character some fictitious time to be in there. I don't know. It just really worked. I'm a big fan of that, which is why I can't get back into DC. It's just seems like you start caring about the continuity and they reboot every couple of years. And I quit Marvel when they started messing with the continuity before even the identity politics. But anyway, as I ramble, and what does Marcus have to say? Did go through Romita, drew the underarm webbing, but Ross Andrew really didn't draw it. Yeah. And even then, it wasn't consistent, if I remember correctly. Even, you know, maybe Ditko was consistent, but I think sometimes they had it, sometimes they didn't. But in my head canon, I can't believe I said head canon. My rationalization for it was Peter was poor. It wasn't until like a relatively new that Spider-Man suit was made of unstable molecules. So I always thought it was like Peter just couldn't repair it sometimes. You know, Peter Parker, poor kid, you know, he spent all his money on tuition and well, maybe not tuition. You think he would have scholarships, but like making web fluid and things like that. So yeah, his costume, to me, I always wrote off changes in his costume as he just couldn't fix it, you know? Yeah, so the X-Men reprints game at 67. Is that what I said? I was accidentally correct. This is Stippling Vaughn's channel. Check it out. Hey, Jay Lucian, how you doing? How you doing? What's your avatar? Is that Brainiac? How you doing? Good to see you. So anyway, let's look at the story. So what we got here? We got a girl walking down the street. We all know who that is. We all know who that is. That's Natasha Romanoff. That's the Black Widow. And yes, Scarlett Johansson's pretty. Some say she can act. I have yet to see evidence of that. You know, she's always just very wooden. But she's not the Black Widow. She's not the Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson is too obviously pretty. You know, like a Famke Jackson back. You know, when she was in one of the Bond girls, she would have been a perfect Black Widow. You know, there has to be something like dangerous looking and exotic, but also beautiful, like a dangerous beauty, like where Scarlett Johansson just looks like all American cheerleader beautiful. You know, they're both beautiful, but just bad casting. Like over here, she looks like, you know, every beautiful Marvel redhead girl. And what's going on? She walked by Spider-Man. She's like, why do I know Spider-Man? That name sounds familiar. So you're confused. Now, keep in mind, this is 1979. I'm 11 years old. So I'm a little like, okay, what's going on here? I kind of know who the Black Widow is. And we get, you know, these, I love this fictitious Marvel of the New York City of the past. It's just like every alleyway is just filled with thugs and robbers and rapists and murderers. And then, you know, it's these guys are just like anachronisms even at the time. I mean, look at that face. Look at that face. You know, so what are they gonna do? They're gonna mug her. They're gonna mug her. So she's running away. And I remember at the time being confused. Why is Black Widow running away? Why is Black Widow running away? And then there's just this wooden wall, and then he just slaps her. And that's pretty shocking, huh? Pretty freaking shocking to see this like violence against a woman. And I like, look at this face. Just like quiet, miss, while I check out your bag. If you got bread, everything's cool. If not, and then boom. Look at that head. You can't get in that position. That is a broken neck. You know what I mean? It's just a broken neck. And we got Trons. They're Micronut robot clowns that make you laugh. I don't know how they make me laugh. They just move. But they move like erratically. So I guess that erratic movement is funny. Silly walks. And Spider-Man. So look at these. Might as well be orcs the way they're drawn. They're just barely you. And then look at Spider-Man. Powerful, masculine, take charge stance. He's not this effete waif that they draw him. Oh, excuse my toxic masculinity. No, this is take charge. I'll give you clowns a choice. Take off and stay healthy, or stick around and spend the next 6 months in a hospital. I just gave you my terms. No way, man. Odds of 3-1. Take them. Buster, you're going to regret having said that. And look, boom, he hits them so hard that the collision causes a nuclear explosion and light is fused. No, he just bams them and their teeth are coming out. That is when you wake up. Because, and I give up, man. And look at this. This slightly askew angle shows you Spider-Man is in control. He's got dominance. He doesn't need to beat this guy up. I give up. And let me adjust the chat. I'm sorry. I got caught up in the comic. I really like this comic. Thanks for the shout out. Anytime, Stippling. That's Marcus. Oh, and he's shouting me out too. How many days left do I have on my comic? Indiegogo. I got 3 days left on Indiegogo. 3 days left on Indiegogo. Peter didn't spend money on food, rent, web fluid, medical care, and needles, thread fabric. Yeah, that's Spidey suit ink. Yeah, that's how I always thought Spider-Man. The webbing is there, the webbing is not there. Spider-Man didn't have time to fix it. Yeah, just mugger. It's getting borderline like gratuitous violence. Remember, for Spidey, Red Hood under attack could easily be MJ. Good point. I didn't think of that. And I hope you're all having a blessed day. This is the Zactarian drive-by blessing. I feel like, in church, sometimes they would take that like medieval holy water sprinkler and just fling water. And you're like, when you're a little kid, you're like, I didn't feel any water. So that's what, he drove by. I got the blessing. I got the holy water. So look at this. Spider-Man slips on the ice. Now, I know nowadays you're like, Spider-Man is infallible because of Spidey sense. So when is this a writer? Did Chris Claremont mess up? I don't like, wouldn't his spider sense tell him that? I don't know. The logic on spider sense is very illogical. And I just think it, like, the way it works in my mind is the way it works in here we go. Spider sense is as effective as the plot demands. Absolutely. But here's the way I work it out in my mind. Again, I'm going to talk about my role-playing game, Villains and Vigilantes. But Villains and Vigilantes, there's a power called heightened senses, and one of them is like a danger sense. So it's, just call it spider sense, same thing. But the way it works is it gives you a percentage. So like every human being in Villains and Vigilantes has a basic 5% danger sense. It's just like some sort of like things ain't right. So what happens is, me as the DM, I just roll the percentile dice. So meaning a 1 to 100. And I roll the dice. The players know that they only have a 5% chance. So if I tell them there's no danger, they're still like, well, I only had a 5% chance. Well, Spider-Man has a heightened sense. So 50%. So, I would always look at that as like he rolled the dice. It's character who was playing Spider-Man rolled the dice. He rolled a 72. You know what I mean? So it is a percentage. If it's not infallible, it's a percentage. And there you go. So that's how I always rationalized it. Sometimes the attack is too fast for Spider-Man to react. Yeah, but Spider-Man is supposed to be like one of the fastest, nimblest characters in all of Marvel. So I always thought of it. It was a percentage. It wasn't infallible. Even in the ground one kick for Spider-Man, you go to the hospital, the morgue. If he doesn't, this is a guy who could lift a car. So just think of an automatic hydraulic pump jack that the hose bursts and hits you in the head. That's enough power to lift a car hitting you in the head. Nobody would be like, oh man, Phil just got hit with the hydraulic hose from the pump and it hit him in the face. Oh my God, is he all right? But Spider-Man can easily do that. The reason why people don't go to the hospital is Spider-Man's a good guy, and for the most part, he holds back. Happy daylight savings time. Yeah, I know that messed me up. I actually got up way too early. Ali did not take the Avengers because the Avengers won't be appearing in this issue. Well, so look at this guy. This guy just pulls out like a freaking assassin ritual dagger, and goes to hit Spider-Man, and then whack. This confused me as a kid the first time I read it. Did she shoot energy? No, but it's just that comic book poetic license of like action, explosion, Oh my God, what have I done? You saved my life, lady, with those karate moves. So, it was all plot. He slips on the ice so this character could show her highfalutin karate moves, And then here's something. I didn't mean, you mind if I take a look at you? No wonder those punches look familiar. You're the Black Widow. So Spider-Man, at this point, he has a belt with the light on it. He used to use it a lot. He used to use it to blind people. He used to use it to let people know he was there. And now in this particular case, he's using it so he could see better. He goes, what gives? You're not saying anything. Say hello to an old acquaintance. How do I know you? Because you're the Black Widow. I'm not any widow. Are you tormenting me? I can't take it. Please, I beg you, let me go. Boom. And she faints. She was getting hysterical. Because you know how women are. Logic, facts. That causes them to faint. Just wilt like a flower. Sirens, New York. I better get out of here. If I had any sense, I'd leave the lady for them. After all, that's what they're paid for. But you could really use some shut-eye, and I've been working for the Bugle without a break. Who am I kidding? So he's contemplating, should I leave her for the police or should I take her? Something is very unkosher here, and I better find out what it is. So time passes and the woman sleeps. I love this. Could you just see like the contours in this and the web? So that he makes a blanket out of his spider webs, and then he coats her up with it. And it's funny because like part of me thinks like, wouldn't she just be like stuck to the floor and like it's like sleeping under a sticky blanket of like duct tape? But no. So like there has to be like, I know this is nerdy, but I always think about this. There has to be like a chemicals within, like this is going to be sticky web fluid. This is going to be, so he must have like an adjustment that he could, I'm doing this with my hands. So like I'll do it here. So he could like adjust that this webbing is not going to be sticky. You know what I mean? Like, how does he do that? But whatever. So he makes a blanket for her. And I just love all the lines in the blanket. It's just masterful. And where am I? You say, so does he, I forget where he takes her. She wakes up. I'm in safe hands. I'm glad you're awake. Look, I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to help you. And then elsewhere, we got this different border to show that like it's a break. We just see this hand contact. Target located. Ba-bam. All right, so let's see what the Happy Daylight Saving Time. Oddly, did not take yes because the Avengers won't be mere. Plus, I think if regular people in superhero worlds have a little bit of extra health and durability, yeah, I'll buy that. Spider-Man never forgets a redhead. There are different kinds of webbing. Some webs are more structural. Yeah, Spider-Man must be able to control like the mixture of the chemicals with the dial. Yeah, nothing about me is nerdy as I wear a shirt that says Egg Shen from Little Trouble in Big China. It's more likely that it's a college lab. There's a blanket in there. Don't think it. Well, you might be right. Might be right. I always thought it was webbing because of that cross hatching. You might be right. Spooderman. Hey, Eric. Hey, Prater. How's it going? How's it going? Good to see you. Oddly, you think there would be a cot since Peter and other lab people sleep in labs. Yeah, okay. So let's cross the page. Let's flip the page. Free 1 million cash. I always like just giggle at that ad and one like, what if there really was like you could just right away and get $1 million cash? It's just that nobody claimed it because everybody was like, it's a scam. The new badge of the future in conservation. Kill squirrels. Throw your voice. I always wanted a spud gun. So now the coloring was a little off. You know, that's not the light, but like she has like a classic comic book Asian coloring over here, then over here, like Caucasian colored, but whatever. So I bought a cup of soup from an all-night deli. Drink up. It'll do you a world of good. I'm sorry I mistook you for the Black Widow. But if you're not her, who are you? She says, I'm Nancy Rushman. I'm a teacher, elementary school upstate. This is good. Good soup. Ex-Green Beret. That's not funny, Spider-Man. Neither was the way you decked that mugger. Where'd you learn to fight like that? I don't know. Okay, let's try an easy one. What do you teach? I can't remember. I can't remember anything. Not sure where I work or where I live or why I'm even in New York. This is a nightmare. I know my names, but the rest of my life is a total blank. Take it easy, Nancy. Shock could have given you temporary amnesia. You could have some ID in your bag. So I love this. Spider-Man's just going through a pocketbook. I remember even in 1979, that was shocking to me because I don't know. I got a bunch of people watching. Any women in the audience? Do women still carry pocketbooks? My wife carries a purse. You know, my mom. Oh man, my mom like her pocketbook was like an appendage. She had it with her. You know, I always thought it was funny. Like, but yeah, I never went. It was just like a no. You never. The only time I ever touched any woman's pocketbook was when I brought it to them. You know, when I was a kid, bring me my pocketbook. So to see Spider-Man just open up her pocketbook and go through it, ooh, that you know, I was like, that you don't do that. You just don't do that. And then stationary target, somewhere in Midtown, scanners begin the triangulation. I hate to say it, Nancy, but you're a bit late for Halloween. What is it? Don't you recognize it? This is the Black Widow's costume. Yours? It can't be. It mustn't. You know. So what's it doing inside your purse? I don't know. Backpedal. She's freaking out. She's starting to come apart at the seams. You know. I don't understand. She's just freaking curious. It looks like she looks like the Black Widow. She fights like the Black Widow. She has the costume, but she doesn't act like Natasha Romanoff. I know. Nancy, you're shaking. Look, this is going to sound real weird. But why don't you change into the Widow's costume? It's insulated. It should keep you warmer than a dozen sheepskin coats. Who knows? Maybe wearing it will jog her memory. Target pinpointed. Still stationary. All units close in. I know, like Spider-Man's, you know, he's got his gentleman over here. He's got his back. We got this sexy leg shot over here of her putting on the leather. The pieces fit together, but they create the pieces fit together like fine, but the puzzle they create makes sense. How you doing, Nancy? Why don't you turn, wall crawler, and see for yourself? Wow. Wait, I forgot. Cots are for scientists. Good morning. My mom has a pocketbook she keeps in her purse. So, pocketbook was the name of a big, this was a pocketbook. That's what we called them. A pocketbook wasn't a book. It was just an oversized purse. A purse is like a female wallet, and then a pocketbook is where you put your purse. So inside my mother's pocketbook was a purse. So is it out of fashion? I don't know. I don't pay attention anymore. In Iron Man 2, she was Natalie Rushman. Apparently, someone remembered this last name from this book. Yeah. Next, he'll go through her browser history. It's funny. You go through my browser history, and it's just like comic book stuff, role-playing stuff, animal videos, and then lately it's been like occult alchemist stuff, because I'm working on some story that I'm trying to do a little bit of research. They would be like, "What is with this guy?" Spidey just wanted to see her in that tight costume. Pete, we all said that Pete likes his redheads, so I love that. He says, "Wow." Now we got a commercial break. Keep the tension going. We got Hulk, we got the Thing, we got what is this? Remember? Marvel Treasuries. I love this ad. Are you skinny? Gain pounds. Now it's the complete opposite. Be a law officer. I love this. Be a law officer. So it's like what, an application? Oh, it's a course on how to pass the police test. Okay. And then, wow, here she is right here. This costume, it's like a second skin. Well, I feel almost indecent. Depends on your point of view. It looks real fine to me. You still cold? Oh, you're right. The installation, I have to admit. Your fit is magnificent. You remember anything? I'm trying to, but I can't remember anything. So she's just going through like, I don't know what's going on. She goes, I understand what you were doing with the costume. I don't remember anything. I'm going to put back my regular clothes. And then target still stationary on my command. Shield strike force attack. They're hitting from all sides at once, and the way they're shooting, they're playing for keeps. So boom, boom, boom. It's the Valkyries. So this is the Countessa, who's like Nick Fury's on again, off again main girlfriend. And then she has these Valkyries under her command. Shield. And I say that I got into comics around 1975. I just round off that year because it's a nice round year, but probably had comics before that. But even then, even in 1979, I knew that Shield were the good guys. So this is what is going on. They don't look like they're firing stun. These are Zarks, and there's big freaking power blast explosions. So I was like, what is going on? Phantom Outsider says, you do not go looking to Black Widow's browser. If you read that well, she'd have to kill you. Yeah. Yep. The party's over. Oh, RJ's here. See ya. See ya, everybody. RJ's here. It's time to close up. I know. Playing for keeps as they fire point blank and miss. Yeah. Good point. I didn't think of that. Are they missing on purpose? Or are they just firing warning shots to scare? Yeah, good point. Good point. Because they were taken by surprise. And again, where's the Spidey sense? Well, maybe the Spidey sense didn't work because he knows that they're. Good point. I read this comic like a million times. I never thought of that. Free super shot vet. So, what is it? Is it spring activated? You pull the spring and it drives. I love this ad. All the Marvel superheroes, just such great characters. Just such great characters. We got Spider-Man, Thor. I mean, who is that? Is that supposed to be Scarlet Witch? Holy mackerel. That is terrible. I don't know. Is that, this is so bad. It looks like female hands, but that is the worst Scarlet Witch I've ever seen. Marcus, do you know who drew this? So we got Spider-Man, and I love this. I love the lighting in this panel. I want to move the camera. Just look at the lighting in that panel. It's just so reminiscent of Frank Miller. That light hits Spider-Man right in the butt, it looks like. The light just blots out all the webbing details. It's just, the coloring is just like reddish black and gold. It's just so good. What a great panel. I love that panel. So he's going out the window and he's just carrying her. You're running down the building. Sure, piece of cake. I do it all the time. And then coming out. Strike Force, form on me. That meddling wub's made a fatal mistake by running. So as long as he's on the wall, he's a sitting duck. Boom, boom, boom. Shoot to kill. Persistent little darlings, aren't they? Boom, boom, boom. They reacted way faster than I expected. The blasters are boxing in on me. So, unless this is an elaborate hoax, she's telling them to shoot to kill. Hey, Jim, RJ I just saw RJ's message with your email. Yeah, I'll email you after this. So I just, maybe there was no danger, no attention. I don't know. Now they're saying shoot to kill. Shield is also a good thing we still have comics after the actors became shields for Hydra. Yep. Like I said, I have no problem. I put the parentheses at the end. The parentheses began in 1974 for me. The parentheses ended in like 2016 or so. And within that bubble, so many good comics. I could go without new comics for the rest of my life because there's so many good comics, and I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to whine about it. There's good stuff out there. Am I living in the past? I guess so. There's no new Star Wars. There's 3 Star Wars movies. That's all. They were great. That's it. There's no new Doctor Who. Peter Capaldi just regenerated into dust. That ad is probably by Marie Severin. Okay. Hell, Marcus. When we have S.H.I.E.L.D. agents outside of Fury shot and missed something and done damage. When have S.H.I.E.L.D. agents outside of Fury shot and hit something and done damage? I know that everybody, from cops to S.H.I.E.L.D. to Skrulls, everybody is like it's just like a comic book trope. Stormtroopers can't hit. If stormtroopers hit, then there's no story. I just realized this. Look at Captain America's shield. It's like draped over like a blanket. Crom the Destroyer. Yeah, Jim O'Reilly is one of the artists on Crom the Destroyer. Giant sailplane. And Whoppers. And I love Whoppers. I heard somebody say that Whoppers are the worst candy in the world. I love Whoppers. So Spider-Man, I love this. He grabs this chariot. He hitches a ride. He swings to the next building. And he's handicapped by carrying, what is she, 120 pounds of like dead meat. She's just clinging to him. She's all sexy as all get out in that outfit, but she's just not doing anything. She's indecisive. She's wormy. Jumps into the snow. And I like that it's snowing out too. It's just something about like comic books. Most comic books are just like in this like eternal spring. But I do like when there's rain, when there's snow, and it's funny because that's one of the things, because the Patriarch Science City is set in right by Yuma, Arizona, so it's going to be sunny, beautiful days. If there's snow in Science City, it's indicative that that's a major problem. All right. So they're firing at them. And then we got a bullet hits him in the shoulder. Arr! Are you badly hurt? Just nick me. Actual damage probably isn't that bad, but shock, throwing my system for a loop. Lean on me and then freeze, sister. Don't shoot. We give up. Spider-Man is wounded. He needs a doctor. Bit too late to surrender. Our orders are to shoot you on sight. So she freaks out. And she just attacks. Boom. Girl on girl action. Black Widow just takes out, dispatches this S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. No, I've done it again, just like before. Nancy, not now. You can't go to pieces now. There's too much. But who? What? I felt like I was locked inside my head. I watched it happen. I can't stop myself because we don't have time to deal with this. It's like I love these action lines. Like they're coming around the corner. Run for it, Nancy. Get down to the street. Head for the subway. So he shoots his spider web and he just pulls this one into a brick wall. This one, she rams into him. It's just like, what's going on? Shoot to kill. Fire weapons that got to make this month's weapon fire quota. They get paid by the shot, so they miss for the overtime pay. Yeah. Editor's note, that was a stray bullet from a mugging down the street. Is that major problem, climate change? It doesn't really have snowstorms in Yuma, Arizona. Oh, I already said that. It was 1970 when New York, when bullets went, yeah, in the 70s in New York, there's bullets all over. We're back to that now. We got more eds. Be a draftsman. Get some grit. So the Countessa just rammed Spider-Man. He's down. We can't kill him. We need to tell us where she went. Took the impact. Knocked out. So in the meantime, we can teach this arrogant arachnid a lesson he'll never forget. So they just pile it on him. But at least it's a diverse pile on. We got the Contessa, who's vaguely European. We got this American chick. We got a black girl with an afro. It looks like we have an Asian girl over here. All's fine. If you're going to get beat up, at least it's a diverse crowd. They're killing him. I got to do something. So she just jumps in and starts fighting. The Widow Sting starts flying around. He's like, wow. All of a sudden, I'm glad you're on my side. And she's standing there. Just women all over the place. They look like, what's that sport? Roller derby. Just all over the place. It's like, yet I'm scared of discovering that I live by dark violence. He goes, all right, wall crawler. You and me have known me a long time, Window. I wish it didn't have to end like this. Boom! And he shoots her right in the belly. Nancy! I love this issue. This was such a good issue. Herbie the Robot. I that cartoon doesn't exist. Oh my God, I hated Herbie the Robot. I feel like a battered wife when it comes to the Fantastic Four. I'll never get that adaptation that I've been craving my whole life. The cartoons sucked. The comics were great. That's why I stick with them. He's so good if you get to know him. And then the cartoons suck. The movies are terrible. Oh my God. And this, I have no faith for the new one. I love this fruit pie ad. Iron Man. Brains over brawn. So a guy just comes in with a tank. Stark Industries. He's going to blow up Stark Industries. And Iron Man just blows up the tank and, for the hell of it, throws some fruit pies at him. You're going to jail for the rest of your life, but here's some fruit pies. Blood. She's not moving, not breathing. She's dead. Fury, you shot her in cold blood, and I want to know why. I had my reasons, and they're none of yours. Just like that. Just like that. I don't like what you did. I'm gonna look at this gun. He's like the man with the golden gun. Blam. And I'm sorry, hero, but you gave me no choice. Val, you come with me. Yes, Nick. The rest of you clean up this mess. Dun dun dun. Here we get web zingers. Just looking at the names. Next issue. Nick Fury joins the fun as Spidey races against time and the unknown foes to discover the true identity of Nancy Rushman. Is she just a school teacher, as she claims? Is she the Black Widow? Who's trying to kill her? And Spidey, it's a high-stakes game. They're almost over. And although Spidey doesn't know it, he's almost lost. Be there 30, folks, for a shutdown on 7th Avenue. Just, and look at this ad. Jack Davis. Look at that. The Spalding touch. I just remember this was I was really confused, but in a good way. I wanted to go to the next issue. And it's like a 5-issue story of a mystery of, we all know it's Black Widow, but why is she Nancy Rushman, and why is Nick Fury after her? Like, it's easy now. She's undercover and can't come out of it, kind of thing. That's what she does. And they made a couple of stories about her going so deep undercover that she can't come out. But why is Nick Fury after her? That was are Shield bad? Of course, me not trusting the government, I immediately go to that. It was just such an intriguing issue. All it did was give you questions. It was so good. girl on girl action. There's something else in your browser history. How many pages of story is this book? 22 pages. 22 pages. Roller derby. Derby. So is the Shield Femme Force, no wonder they kept missing. Ladies, I'm only joking. Remember, Black Widow is standing right there. 17 pages of story? I thought it was 22 pages in a 32-page comic. Only 17 pages? I don't know. Well, it's kind of beat up. I love these corner boxes over here. Next issue, I think he teams up with Shang-Chi and then Nick Fury, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then it just turns into like a 5-issue story arc of Nancy Rushman. And I have to say, I mean, I don't think I'm spoiling too much. She comes out of it and she remembers that she's Natasha. But you kind of like, you have like a loss because Nancy Rushman is just so sweet, you know, and it's just like, you know, Peter starts to have feelings for Nancy. I mean, again, redheads are his weakness, you know, and then it's just like pure chivalry. He protects her, takes care of her. She's the maiden, you know, damsel in distress. I don't know. It just this story just hit on all cylinders. I got to reread the other issues. I read this issue over and over and over again. I got to reread the other issues. You know, I don't know what it is about this particular issue that always got me. They expanded it to 22 in the 7th. Okay. Only 17 issues. To me, that's even more impressive. So much story and only 17 pages. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. So as always, I'll keep talking as long as the chat keeps moving. But I got nothing else to say about this comic other than, you know, maybe I'll continue the story next week. How's that? You want me to continue the story next week? Spider-Man has this interesting dynamic where you can have a guest of the week type of. Yeah, Spider-Man had Marvel Team Up and Ben Grimm had Marvel 2-in-1. I will say, for the most part, I'm getting like 900 messages. For the most part, Marvel Team Up was a better comic. It just had, you know, in the first 100 issues or so, I'm going to say there was like 25 that are just absolute classics. You know, a lot of them that were good, and then a couple of fillers. Whereas in the first 100 issues of Marvel 2-in-1, I could say this is like 10 that were classics. And that's all the Project Pegasus. I showed one of the issues last week. And then a lot that were just fillers. Some of them were just charming. Again, my phone's just blowing up. Just a billion messages. All right, so Spider-Man is okay. Heading to church. Have a blessed day. You too. Eric says, yeah, continue. Too much in one day makes you appreciate the story less. Okay, yeah. So next week I'll continue. I feel like Spider-Man's a very flexible character. You could throw him in a lot of different. Yeah, he's such a. Yeah, have a great day, Zach. Yes. Yeah, Spider-Man he really is an amazing character. Just, you know, 1 in a million character. You know, like lightning in a bottle. Can't really. Just a great costume. Spider-Man, you know, the name is kind of hokey, but we're used to it, you know. Yeah, Spider-Man really is a bad name, you know, but we're just used to it. For most of us, the name Spider-Man always existed since before we were born, so we just accept it. But it really isn't a bad name, but it works. That costume, the everyman, the power set, just like, geez, what is going on with my freaking phone? I wonder how many panels those didn't have dialogue. Every panel had something in it to read. Every panel. I even this one. No. Every panel. Yeah. Every panel had words. in Marvel Team Up 10 when the Thing and Black Widow team was one off, but a really good show at how. Yeah, that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorites. Matter of fact, that was my second video that I did on this video. This was the first. That was the second. The Human Spider. I would have just called them the Spider. The Spider. The Spider. I think it's a more mysterious, cool name. But there you go. I got nothing else to say. I'll continue this. I forget if it's 4 or 5 issue story next week. And it was written in the Marvel method. Yeah. Give them a script. You draw it, come back. Chris Claremont then writes all the dialogue. There already was the Spider. There already was a Daredevil. There already was the Vision. There already was the Angel. There already was the Human Torch. Didn't stop Stan. There already was a Captain Marvel. Didn't stop anybody. So I got nothing else to say. I got a couple of emails to do today. I'm going back to work tomorrow, so I definitely won't have the output like I've been doing the past couple of weeks. I popped in on a show called The Neutral Ground last night, and there was like 12 people in the panel. And I popped it. I couldn't get a word in edgewise, and then I started to say something, and immediately people started talking, and I just left. I really do not enjoy being on panels. With 4 people to me is the most. So even on my own shows, I'm going to try to keep it to 4 people at the most. Like It's Clobbering Time, we had 5 people, and even that started to feel like it was getting away from me. I think more structure is helpful. The Neutral Ground, I really liked what was his name, Dark Raider. I forget his name. The host, he was trying to, let people air out their grievances. That's great. So I was interested. I wanted to see John Marilyn and Matt Bauer work out their grievances, but it was just like that Sesame Street element, Roosevelt, Franklin, Elementary. It was just, if I was to host, be a referee, John Marilyn, you got 5 minutes. Matt Bauer, you got 5 minutes. State your case, and then all the people. You don't need all 12 of the people in the panel. Not everybody was, just because you throw an open invite and everybody could pop in. Not everybody had anything really to contribute. Like, you got anything to contribute? You got. This is Neutral Ground. We're trying to solve problems. I think that was a well-intentioned show, but it just. And now already, I wake up and I see John Marilyn talked about it for 2 hours, making himself, attacking it, and now he's on with Ethan Van Sciver right now. It just created drama. It was supposed to solve problems, and now it's fodder for other people's problems. I see Comics Geek drama on Twitter already. You got to have structure. You want to, it's good to solve problems, but okay, you talk, but mute everybody else. Okay, response, and then go down the panel. You have nothing to say. You're just here as a heckler. You're gone. Okay, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be popping in on other people's large panels that much anymore. It doesn't work. Large panels are rough. Yes. The original Daredevil was in India, discontinued, so had no copyright protection. Yeah, same with that's how they got the name Captain Marvel. Human Torch was Marvel, obviously original. But I don't know. So anybody? A timely Atlas did not own the Spider. Yeah. John, Ethan, and Shane will create drama if there is none the brand. Yeah. True. And I said to Liam, stop responding to everybody. I said, you jump at every taunt and people laugh and then it keeps going. I said, you want to stop people making fun of you? First off, ignore everybody. Second off, just consistently make good books. Just make good books. That's it. People are making fun of you because shut them up. Just put out good books. And that'll shut everybody up. Like the point I keep trying to make. Everybody here is fighting each other. Gail Simone is writing X-Men. Who won? Who's winning? Who won? Comicsgate. Yay, Comicsgate. Gail Simone is writing the X-Men. Mark Waid is writing Superman. Yay, congratulations. Congratulations, Comicsgate. You did good. You did good, Comicsgate. All right. They were crying about our award show nominations we did last. I didn't know anything about this. This award show. Where is this? This is the first I'm hearing about it. I like Liam. That's good advice. I dislike Liam, but that was because Ethan told me not to like him. Now Ethan likes him. I don't, you know. So I don't know. I don't know. I just think Liam is his own worst enemy. You know. I don't know, but you know, a couple of guys took shots at me, started making fun of me. I fought back, and then I realized all I'm doing is giving them stuff that they could go back on their channel and talk about me and make videos about me. So I just stopped responding about it. And when was the last time you saw a video about me? You know, attacking me? Why? Because don't respond to it. Don't respond to it. Can't control the internet. Someone who's, you know. And I also did I had that extra hour today. I just unsubscribed. I finally did it. I unsubscribed from your boy Zach. I had enough. I don't care about the party clowns. Oh my God, Critical Drinker doesn't do things the way I think he should do them. You know what? I don't think Phil Moskowitz does things the way they do. I don't think this guy does things the way, you know. There's a guy who I respect. Last night I was on his channel. I don't think he does things the way I want him to do. So let me talk about him for 9 months. You know, Zach, you're just as bad as Ethan talking about Eric July. Who gives a crap? You know, talk about stuff you like. I finally did it. I finally did it. It actually was like hurt, but like I unsubscribed. I'm done. You know, talk about, mention it. That's fine. You bring it up. I don't like this. This is fine. I'm doing it right now. But harping on it for 6 months, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Do you want me to talk about how much I hate Burger King for 6 months? All right, I'll mention. You know, first off, I love Burger King. I like it better than McDonald's. So which one don't we like? I don't know. You know, but you get the point of what I'm trying to say. I don't like the color blue. So let's harp on blue for the next 6 months. Is that what you want to hear? And apparently I'm in the minority because people are like in the comments that was the best, most entertaining. It's reality TV. It's the all Comicsgate is now is the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's manufactured drama that turns into real drama, and it's just, you know, and none of them are housewives. You know, none of these people are comic book people anymore. They're not making comics. You know, so I don't know why it's part of comic books, but that's what Comicsgate is now. It's the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's just reality TV. I don't know. I don't watch the Kardashians. I don't watch that. I don't want to hear it. I want to see what happened to poor Nancy Rushman. But what do I know? What do I know? We do an award show every year. There's a fifth on Danger Vanessa. I don't even know who Danger Vanessa is. Send me a message. This is the first I'm hearing about it. I purposely keep my YouTube window small. Yeah, I agree with you about Zach. Zach has OCD and will get fixated. I do too. So it's kind of hypocritical. I do too, but you know, this is the last time I'll bring it up. You know, again, mention it. It's boring. Bless me, the king shall be made aware of this. You don't want that creepy king head following you around. I don't get that. Sorry, Phantom. I nominated Clobberton for best ensemble show. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's nice. No, John, it's not what Comicsgate. Well, that's what it is. Comicsgate is reality TV. That's what it is. That's the product. They admit it. They're YouTube channels. That's what Comicsgate. What is Comicsgate? It's not a reaction to mainstream comics anymore. Nobody talks about mainstream comics. Nobody cares. You know, it's just Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's Maury Povich. Thank you. Oh, I already saw that. The fan base of Comicsgate has slowly changed over the years. Most comic book fans and readers left, and those who left behind a YouTube drama. Maybe. Okay, you're right. Comicsgate is about perfect, beautiful, wonderful comic books that nobody talks about, nobody buys. Sales are going down, views are going down, but that's what Comicsgate is. Comicsgate is crackhead Ethan, John Malin, who can't be trusted, and Shane, who I got no problem with Shane. I like Shane. That's them. It's them talking bad about people. It's them putting people down. It's them going after Eric July. That's what Comicsgate is. It's crap. It's nonsense. Comicsgate is over. I believed in it, and somebody. It's reality TV show. It's a bunch. It's The View. That's what Comicsgate is. It's three cackling witches over a cauldron. That's what Comicsgate is. Sales going down in every industry. Oh, so Comicsgate, ta-da! You won. Comicsgate won. Yay! Congratulations. Sales are going down in every industry. Congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations. I DM'd you. Okay, thanks. So there we go. There we go. So next week I'll talk about the follow-up issue to this, 83. All right. Oh, you deemed. Okay, that was one of the. Okay, cool. That's good. Like I said, I went on an unsubscribing binge of a bunch of people that I just not interested in anymore. Just want to talk positively about comics. Mention your gripes. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just everywhere. It's just, first off, it's all politics, which I guess we've all seen. Oh, I got these made. This is the Mary Sue symbol. I got these stickers. I don't know if I'll put them in the new comics that I'll be sending out hopefully next week, but maybe I just got these because I'm a sucker. I got like a coupon for like a big discount on Sticker Mule, so I got stickers made. I got t-shirts coming. I got a 3D resin print file, but I'm kind of disappointed with the print. I paid half of it for a deposit to get a resin model. They download you the file and you could print them. But I said this is the image I want to use, and then I sent Renzo did like a 360 of all these different perspectives of the patriarch, and they used the wrong one. So I told him, I told you to use this pose where he's from the splash page, and then they used the reference model, and the guy's like, oh, okay, well, if you upgrade, I said, I don't want to upgrade. You made a model of the wrong image. I told you use this image. This is a reference. So who knows if that's going to be happening. Who's the fight on It's Clobbering Time? It's Archangel versus Hawkman. Oscar wanted to see that one, so there you go. Am I a fan of Warhammer 40K? It's complicated. Abbott and Lanning did a Warhammer comic. I'm trying to remember the name of the comic company. And my roommate, Jason, at the time, he had a stack of like 40 or 50 of these comics. When I lived in Albuquerque, I lived with a bunch of guys that were all into Warhammer. And they played constantly. They built models. They painted models. We rented this huge house, and the dining room, and the house was furnished. It was one of my roommate's grandparents' house, so the house was just furnished with old people furniture, and it was great. So it was a great house. I love that house, and it was at the end of a cul-de-sac. It was nice and quiet. Huge backyard. I love that house. Rent was $200 a month. It was awesome. But anyway, the dining room table, the dining room was the Warhammer room, and that beautiful big old dining room table, and they put this green felt over it, and that was their Warhammer table. And then the china cabinet was just filled with war. So it was funny to see this old lady not armoire, but china closet, just filled with all their Warhammer stuff. And then the opposite wall, it was just sheets and sheets and sheets of oak tag that they put hexes on, and each hex represented that table. And then they had this system where if you won the battle, you got to claim extra hexes and stuff. It was fascinating. And these guys would play on, but I wouldn't play because I was super broke. That was the brokest I've ever was back then. I mean, I was like worrying about the next meal kind of broke. So I didn't want to play. But Jason, he read all the comics. He said, here. So I got these stack of Warhammer Monthly was the name of the comic. And I'm up to issue 86. And I love the story. I love the lore. I have a couple of Warhammer board games that are not the miniatures game. You know, I played the Warhammer role-playing game. There's a Warhammer fantasy role-playing game, and there's a Warhammer 40K role-playing game. I played those. I really like the system. I like right behind me, I got Space Hulk board game. I have a Warhammer fantasy board game over there. I haven't even played it yet, still in Shrink. I played somebody else's copy. I have a Doom, the board, you know, the video game board game that uses a Warhammer system. So yeah, I really like it, but I will not play it for the same reason I won't play Magic. It's just too expensive. It's just a rabbit hole I will not go down. And I love Magic. I think it's a well-designed game. It's a lot of fun. But I just won't play it. I just won't because I know me. I can't afford. When I want to play Magic, I look it up there. There's a board game called Sorcerer that gives me my Magic fix. And when you buy Sorcerer, you get everything. So I just won't do it. So does that answer? Is that too complicated of an answer for my fan of Warhammer? I love the lore. My friend Mike reads all the novels and he gives me all the novels. So I got a stack of Warhammer novels because they're written by Dan Abnett and Andy Lamnick, who I really like their comics. Phantom Outsider says, which Hawkman, JSA 9th Metal or JLA Thanagar? Well, that's just it. We got to come to terms over, you know, which version, right? And I have to admit, I think out of all the comic book characters, Hawkman's continuity and Donna Troy's continuity are like the worst as far as convoluted. I just started getting into Warhammer. I built my first miniature and painted it yesterday. Good. That's another thing is you have to play in a Warhammer tournament. You have to have at least 3 colors on each miniature. You know, you can't show up with an unpainted army. They won't let you play. Oh, and there's a place around the block for me called Brothers Grimm, and I met the owner at my friend Scott's party. Excuse me, Roy's party. Cool guy. We spent like an hour or two just talking about comics and stuff. But it's a game store, so it's board games, Dungeons, Dragons, and everything like that. And every weekend they have Warhammer tournaments. You know, and Roy and Scott are like, you got to come down. And I'm like, I just don't want to, you know, like I want to, but I can't. It's like, have a taste of crack. Have a taste. Next thing you know, I'm asking tranny women to marry me and sucking on bathroom pipes. That sounds fun. It was fun. And to make it even worse, they all had a spare army for me. Now you don't have to spend a dime. Here's a spare army. Do I have a favorite faction of Warhammer? I never played. So I don't have a favorite faction. I know Kevin played Orcs. I know one of them played Eldar, which is like elves, I think. But I would play basic Space Marines because they seem to be the heroes in the comics. So they're the ones whose lore that I know the best, you know? Yeah. Warhammer is expensive. Yeah. Kevin said he spent upwards of like 30K on 40K. I expect, yeah, it could be very, I love miniature games. I love it. I have a huge tote, excuse me, of Star Wars X-Wing. Huge tote because it used to be put up on Final FFG, Final Flight games, or Fantasy Flight games. Excuse me. I gotta take a sip. and they were pre-painted, and it was Star Wars, and it was just ship-to-ship combat, so you didn't really have to deal with like the Force or anything like that. You just needed a 3x3 mat, which is why I got my table built so I could put 2 3x3 mats down. So you can imagine how big this table is. You see that table? You know, and so I could play war games on it. And Fantasy Flight Games, they kind of screwed themselves. They did a second edition, and then they sold the game to another company, and the other company just changed it, and it killed it. It just killed it, and nobody wants to play anymore. I still play the first edition, so all of these people who got annoyed, I joined on Facebook called the Lords of War, and it's just a local war games group that I met out here, pretty much run by that guy who runs that Brothers Grimm by me. And everybody was like, "Does anybody want this? Anybody?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." So I'm not even joking. I must have like $10,000 worth of Star Wars X-Wing. I don't know why that's difficult for me to say. And it's all sorted. It's all in totes, and it's all first edition. First edition is fine. It's space combat. I prefer Star Trek Attack Wing. It's the same exact system, but it's, when you X-Wings to TIE fighters, it's just one guy in the ship versus one guy in the ship. But when you play Star Trek, it's a big Klingon vessel versus a Federation vessel. So you can actually build like a crew. So you got like Captain Kirk, Dr. McCoy, Wesley Crusher or whatever. So you have so there's a little bit more to it. And I like that just a little bit more. Plus, I like Star Trek more than I like Star Wars. So, and every time I play, I'm like, I'm the original Enterprise, and nobody complains because the little Enterprise is a tiny little ship, So the original Enterprise is like this big. The Next Generation Enterprise is this big, and you see that Borg cube right there? That's an actual piece for X-Wing. So I'm not even joking. Like this little corner right here, that's as big as the Enterprise compared to that. So when you play the Borg, it's almost like you got to make it an NPC, and there's rules for how it attacks and everything like that. It's a lot of fun. Oh, and to continue, I bought almost everything for Game of Thrones, Game of Ice and Fire. It's a tactical miniatures game of Game of Thrones. Now, the problem is nobody wants to play it because Game of Thrones, the TV show, ended so poorly, but it's based on the books, and it's a real easy, real fun, real clever tactical miniatures game. And there's a couple of other tactical miniature games that I have. Oh, I got Sails of Glory, which is Napoleonic ships. I got Wings of War, which is World War I biplanes. But and then I got one. I want to play it so bad. It's called Tail Feathers, and it's little mice that ride hummingbirds and they joust. And it's a tactical miniatures game, and it's more complicated than it needs because it looks so cute, And it's based on a board game called not Mouse Guard, but it's based on this cute little dungeon crawl game that you could play with kids. And then they have this super complicated miniatures game. It was just like a thematic disconnect that it caused it to flop. There was no sequels to it. I don't know. I've been talking so long, I forgot what you're laughing at. Hey, Eric, I drew comics for Mythic Americas and the tabletop game. Cool. It's good that you're self-aware. Stay away if it's going to be an addiction. Yeah. I mean, I at one point I was collecting records, comic books, toys. So I quit with the toys, although I still get that bug for the toys. I quit with the records, although every once in a while I still get. So it's just comic books, and believe it or not, I actually quit with the board games. I haven't bought a new board game in over 2 years, but sometimes they show up because you think comic books are late on Kickstarter and crowdfund. Board games are years late. So, matter of fact, I just got a Tacticals Miniatures Western game called High Noon, and I haven't played it yet. And if you I crowdfunded it 5 years ago for $300, and it was all in. And they just send you if they keep me, and it was kind of a risk because you didn't know if they were going to continue. But I still get huge boxes from it, so it turned out to be a pretty good investment, even though I haven't played it yet. Haven't heard of Mythica America. Oh, okay, you guys are talking to each other. I like the building aspect of Warhammer. I'm a tinker, and I always enjoy building stuff. I would have liked it years ago, but now my eyes are bad. So the only miniatures that I'm like putting them together, I got this little Warhammer game called it's gonna drive me nuts. But it only had 10 figures, and you had to put them together, and it was a Space Marines land on a planet and you fight Gene Stealer. So it was a 2-player based tactical miniatures board game. And I played it like 3 times, and I ended up giving it away in a raffle, or raffling it all. Why can't I think of the name of the game? Well, okay, you responded to Marcus. Well, who would win? Vader or Kirk was settled when they introduced midichlorians to Star Wars. Really? Yeah, Dr. McCoy could just replicate the midichlorians, right? That was the biggest mistake. But I don't know what you talk about because there's only 3 Star Wars movies. Bones and Jerks Kirk with the massive amount of McClorian. Oh, is this real? What was this? A Heather Antos comic? Oh, remember in Plato's Stepchildren, Kirk Alter. Oh, wow. Oh my God. You know that meme where the guy's head explodes? Oh my God. You just tied in. Brilliant. Did you come up with that, Phantom Outsider? Is that you, or is that in the comics? Oh my God. That is awesome. That's so good. Plato's Stepchildren, they had the Force, and Bones replicated the midichlorian. Oh my God. Now, how did I not think of that? That is so obvious. That's it. Phantom Outsider, you get a no prize. You get them. That is awesome. Oh my God. That legit, you legit got me speechless. It's so obvious in retrospect. Adam Lawson created a board game. What was it called? You forgot the name, but it did well. Oh, cool. Oh my God, this is worth the extra time, because I was going to sign off about 20 minutes ago. That Phantom Outsider, you made my day. You made my day. That was a great comment. It's so obvious now. It's as obvious as the Squire of Gothos is a Q, you know. And with Sally Kellerman and what was his name from the pilot episode, you know, Gary 7, is that his name? No, Gary 7 is the one with Terry Garr. You know, Charlie X, and why can't I think of his name? But Gary Mitchell from the pilot episode. Were they also Q, trapped in human form? You know, man, you just blew my mind, Phantom. That blew my mind in a good way. That was awesome. That was fun. That's the kind of stuff I want to talk about. That I don't want to talk about stupid who's fighting with who. That was fun. Oh my God, that was fun. Yeah, Gary 7 was a human. Yeah, he was a human, abducted, went there, and came back. And it was Star Trek's Steel and Doctor Who, if you ask me. You know, he had the time travel machine. You know, he had the female companion, Terry Garr. It was Gene Roddenberry basically lifted Doctor Who before Americans knew what Doctor Who was. Cool. All right. Well, I got a lot of stuff to do. I got to go pick up a monthly train ticket for work. My wife, I got to go up on the roof and get the leaves. I haven't done it in months, so I got to go clean the gutters. And then when I still have my neck brace on, I went out with a chainsaw and I cut all these hedges down. They're still in a pile in the backyard, so I'm gonna go clean that up. Got to go to work tomorrow, so I might as well get myself moving today. So I got a lot to do. I always wondered if the Gary cell was connected to the Questor android. Yeah, there's a lot. Didn't Peter David write these novels? Peter David wrote a novel where the Squire of Gothos was a Q, Trelane, but I was winning. But man, the Plato stepchildren. Oh my God, that was brilliant, brilliant. All right, I'll see you guys. See ya. I'll shut it down. Again, I'm gonna be kind of shy on my channel. I'll probably go back to doing what I used to do, which was like Saturdays, record like 5 or 6 pre-recorded videos about comics, and then schedule them and have them released. I'll do like, I think Wednesdays I'll still do like live conversations, because I got a feeling there's going to be booming overtime. And when I come home at 7 o'clock and go to bed at 9, there's not going to be much time for so I'll honor whatever I have scheduled. But I keep getting messages. All right, before I get distracted, but I got to go. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. This was fun. And next week, I'll do 83. I'll continue the story.